let me start off by saying that I had a very ambitious October TBR because I did not read a lot. I did not have time to read, and I was kind of still in my slump that carried on from September. So I only read 4 books, and they're rather short, so just bear with me on this. Today I'm going to be presenting you my October wrap-up and my November TBR. The first book that I've read in the month of October is Falling into Place by Amy Zong. This book follows a girl named Liz Emerson. She tries to commit suicide using Newton's laws of motion, and she rides her car really fast into a tree and tries to commit suicide. Fortunately, she did not die. She's in a coma, but you kind of get the perspective of all of her friends and her family and what they think of the fallout, and you also get Liz's perspective and why she'd wanted to commit suicide in the first place. So you get both sides of this. It has been compared to 13 Reasons Why, and I don't think so. I think 13 Reasons Why was far better, but it did have its strong points. I liked the characters, and I did not like the main character, but I liked the rest of the characters. I like the supporting characters. In total, I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars, but the 4 is a low 4. Next, I read Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is a collection of 5 short stories, all happening in the woods, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really creepy at a few times, and it didn't scare me very much, but it did creep me out. My favorite would have to be A Lady's Hands Are Cold, which is the second story of this book. That was creepy. That was the creepiest one, and the illustrations are great and they're really creepy. So I like this book though. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Scary Stories Tell in the Dark. I never said the author's name in any of my book haul or my TBR, and I feel really bad, but Alvin Schwartz is the author. He's the one who collected all the stories, and it's illustrated by Brett Hellquist. And I liked it better when I was a kid. It has different stories, and I really like a lot of them, and I still do. It just didn't scare me as much as it used to, of course. That being said, I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I didn't realize how childish this book was written. It's really intended on younger audiences. Will I read the other 2? Of course, but probably not now. And the last book that I read in the month of October is Deadly Class. This is where I made the mistake last time. It is by Rick Remender. It is illustrated and put together basically by other people, and that is Craig and Lowridge. So this book follows a 14-year-old boy who becomes homeless when his parents are murdered. His name is Marcus Lopez. Marcus Lopez used to be a name of somebody who was wanted and is involved in a lot of crime, and he had the misfortune of picking this name when he came to the US, and is told in the 1980s. Marcus Lopez gets targeted for a bunch of reasons, and very early on in this book, he is recruited to King's Dominion High School for the Deadly Arts, basically where a lot of renowned assassins send their kids there to become better assassins, and that's basically the gist of it. I didn't like this book very much. I think maybe it was the hype, but I didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of things about it that can connect to any of the characters. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like it. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I did like certain parts and sections of the book, and I found those really interesting, so I gave that its 2 stars, and I also gave it its 2 stars because of its illustration. I don't like this particular illustration, but I like that there's different styles. I saw pop art, in here, and I also just like the regular illustration. And though the cover is amazing and beautiful and it seems promising, unfortunately I didn't enjoy it very much, and this is volume 1 and I won't be continuing with this series. So that's all I read in the month of October. For my November TBR, I'm going to be reading, I only selected a few books that I want to read, so we're just going to get to that. Though I do want to mention that I'm definitely going to be reading The Retribution of Maya Dyer. I pre-ordered it, it's supposed to be coming today, so I'm super excited to jump into that. But before I do, I have to finish the most important book of the year, and that is In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken. I've already started it. I haven't gotten too far. I've only gotten to page 40, and I had this book for a while. I just didn't have time to read. And so I'm going to be finishing this book and then reading The Retribution of Maya Dyer. Absolutely, definitely, by the end of the month. I also decided, usually when I'm in my slumps, contemporary books work very well, and so I decided Island: A Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. Again, I've yet to read this book, so I want to finish it by the end of the year. The next book I have, I'm a little embarrassed I haven't read it yet, only because I had saw it at Indigo before it was even released. I saw it a week before and I went to go pick it up and I was so excited to start it. I didn't end up starting it, and that is Young Elites by Mary Lou. I ended up getting this in September. This will be in my book haul. But I haven't read it yet, so only because of that I definitely want to get started hopefully on this book. It's been sitting on my shelf and staring at me, being all like, read me, so. I also have The Iron Trials by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. I want to read this book. It's very short and I think I could fly through it rather quickly. And it's a middle grade novel, so I want to read it. I want to know what all this fuss is about and all the hype is about. And it sounds very good, and I've only heard nothing but good things, so yes. And the last book I want to read next month, or this month rather. So this book here is one of the books that I am most embarrassed I haven't read yet, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I have yet to read this book. It's been sitting on my shelves for 2 years, and it's still not read. And I want to read it either this month or December, either or, whichever one I don't have time to read. It will get pushed on to the next month because this has to be finished this year. It is a goal of mine. So I guess that's it, and I guess I'll see you next time with a new video. Bye.